Welcome to the magical world of House of Royale, episode and angel number 13. You guys know I only bring magical unicorns onto this set. And today I present to you a spiritual king. He began saving lives in the world of social work before he became known as one of LA's top celebrity hairstylists, weaving his magical hair magic into iconic TV shows such as RuPaul's Drag Race, The Real, Selling Sunset. We're talking music videos, movies, commercials galore. Please welcome a true angel of the City of Angels, RENÉ Maldonado Cortez. Woo! Yeah. You guys are going to see the edited version of that. RENÉ, hola, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y tú, amor? ¿Cómo estás?
Bien. Thank you so much for coming here today and blessing us.
Me.
Yes. And you guys, I just want you to know that when I say spiritual king, I mean truly, like even looking at your live stories on Instagram, like you're constantly just spreading a message of love and reminding us that we need to be connected to nature and our family, your culture. You really push the culture and the love of your culture on your social media, which is so important. And I just love that. So
thank you.
Yeah.
It's great to hear that feedback. That's my intention with sharing that content and sharing that love and joy that I feel we should all share. So
absolutely. So let's begin. Let's start from the beginning, where you come from and how it all began. Tell people.
Of course. Well, I'm a fellow Angelino, born and raised, grew up in the West Side, even though we lived in the East Side. So we grew up commuting a lot. Both my parents, first generation, they're from Mexico. My dad's from Oaxaca. My mom's from Jalisco. So we definitely had that dual language and had the joys of being in ESL from kindergarten until third grade, just to assimilate and learn how to speak English. But that journey was great. I mean, the West Side back then, I mean, I'm 44, I turned 44. And to look back at that time, I still go back to Venice pretty frequently now. I love that place. I hated it as a kid because, you know, even though I lived in Koreatown and we grew up in the West Side, there were two different worlds that I had. I mean, the West Side was great. You know, obviously it was predominantly white, but it was creative. There was surfers. There was a whole other world that I didn't really understand. And I knew about Koreatown and downtown, but we didn't get to really experience that. My parents just were like more about the West Side and we had family there. So we were able to grow up with that. And I grew up in a big family. I mean, it's just my sister and I, but we had a godmother that took care of us, our Nina, and she raised about 30 kids. We were known as the Brady Bunch.
Wow.
It was fun just to look back and have that group of people you can associate with, especially speaking Spanish and just socially to have that dynamic. You know, I went to Short Avenue, my other junior high, then I went to Venice. Venice High was the place where I found myself. I found my inner warrior that was always there. I grew up singing, dancing, and
really,
yeah. I mean, my mom, when she was home, you know, a lot of Spanish music, so a lot of that gets your hips moving. So I love to have music around. It just lights up my spirit. Even when I work with people or create, as I call it, I like to create a mood, create a vibe. And now I'm learning with music, I can tell a story that, you know, you can create a playlist that has an intention and different ideas, but I'm grateful to my mom and my dad for exposing me to music. It definitely allowed me to express who I was, even though being first generation and being the firstborn and having the machismo expectation of, you know, having to be a specific way or, you know, I was very observant as a kid. I knew right away I was different. Even in elementary school, I was pretty much brought up that I was dark, had full lips. It was very confusing, especially having the name René. I didn't know it was unisex until I got to high school.
Wow.
I took French class one semester, and that's when my French teacher, you know, asked me if I knew what it meant, and it means to be reborn again. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know it was, you know, unisex.
I love that.
So it was a hard time to grow up knowing that because kids already knew that I was, you know, feminine, or as the word I have is fag. So that word right away is
Yes,
something
you guys,
that
I would like you to just pay attention to René's shirt. I love this because we really need to understand what that message is sending to the people, right? Like, we are who we are. We're effing owning it. Like, we're standing up for what we believe in. And so I love that. As a child, when did the creative streak happen? Because you're such an artist. So where did that
thank you.
start?
For me, it started automatically going to Disneyland. I'm a
Oh,
July baby, so I've grown up celebrating others. And in July, we're on summer school. So I didn't have that celebration that my peers did. So Disneyland was my beacon, my safe haven, where I felt like I can go into this magical world and be there.
aw.
And I saw the effect it did from the lighting to the sound to the outfits. I then realized that seeing the Main Street Electrical Parade gave me hope to being a dancer just because I wanted to hold Cinderella's dress at the end that it lit up. So to see that impact as a kid and just see like how it was very regal and the confidence it exuded and the performance and the effects to me was very alluring. And I knew right away that that was something I wanted to tap into, but it wasn't something that my surroundings were exposed to, which is
Yeah.
why in high school I felt that I did performing arts. It started off with dancing, and I was a raver, so I was in a party club back then. It was in my DL phase. I was in a party crew. I was a dancer. I was a groover, and I was a part of Acid Slaves, so that was the crew I was a part of, and my name was Bam Bam, and so we would have dance battles.
I
And that was
love
my way
it.
to express myself at that time because, there was that pressure, but that expectation. It was
Mhm.
still cool because it was fun,
Mhm.
spontaneous. And I felt seen at that time. And in high school, I befriended a cheerleader friend of mine who knew that I picked up choreography pretty fast. And I wasn't involved in high school right away because I was the first graduating junior high class to start transitioning into high school because I went to junior high when it was supposed to be 7th, 8th, ninth.
Mhm.
So when I went to Venice High in 94, I was the first ninth grade class to start. And I was there for 4 years and graduated in 97. But it was in 94 where it was my raver years. I was ditching school, even though I was ninth grade class president, didn't really fulfill that role successfully, but I knew I wanted to be active. I knew I found my tribe in high school. I went to Venice High, and that place to me is like, it's Rydell High. It's where they shot Grease.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, I love that movie, but seeing that and being a part of that made me realize the glitz and glam of Tinseltown. I mean, I grew up with the Hollywood sign being lit up back in the day. And, people moved there and eventually shut it off because it was interfering with their life. But I think it still should be lit up
Mm.
and blocked off because it's like a landmark. That's what
Yes.
created this place, Hollywood Land Town. I mean, there's, obviously La Pasita Olvera, the City of Angels, how it founded, and then it evolved to where we're at today. But that place to me, the Hollywood sign is what gave me hope, and Disneyland together. Those two merging is what created this fantasy in my mind to think like I want to be a part of that creative world because what I was seeing around me was just very like in the box, go to high school, get married, have your kids. And
Mm.
I knew I didn't want to do that. I actually came out in high school. I was 16 and that was hard, but it was also at a point where I wanted to own my individuality. My parents were going to separate, and I felt that my dad's very prideful. So I didn't want someone else to tell my dad that they saw their faggot son on the boulevard holding hands with someone else. Because,
Mm.
People are always going to share like, oh, I saw this. Chisme, back and forth.
Yeah.
We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have all this stuff. So it was very like in the moment.
Yeah.
So I felt within myself that it would be best if he heard it from me
Yes.
because I would never want someone to pull the rug under him. And I've always been aware of like the impact it has on people, the words or your intentions. So I've always been aware as a kid. It's definitely very empathetic, emotional. I'm now in a place where I can celebrate that and honor that because before it was just, be tough. Men don't cry. Men don't have emotions, but I do have emotions.
And we still see parents saying, even though it's 2023, it's not 2023 in my household. Like, there's still so many homes that are not supportive of their kids wanting to identify how they truly feel who they are. I mean, just the other day, I'll bleep this out, but
Singer.
yeah, he just got canceled for saying like the whole trans thing is bullshit. And so it's just, like we're still kind of in this space where people are truly resistant to it. So it's so important that you're sharing your story with your relationship with your father because there are so many kids that still are at home and they're like, I don't want to come out. because of religion or culture or just their parents not accepting them. And yeah, it's rough. I mean,
It
even
is.
with my parents, like, you know, the traditional like American household, it was like if I didn't have a boyfriend, I was a lesbian, and if I had a boyfriend, I was a slut. And it's like I could never win, you know. And my father like encouraging the partying and the drinking, and then it's like we come into the Y2K era, and I was like trained to be like the drunk, dumb slut party animal. Like that was the cool thing to be. And you look back now and you're like, oh my God, we were lied to. It was rigged. Like, we bought the lie. I was gonna ask you as well, as magical as the 90s were, because there was magic from that era, because music and just showbiz in general was such a cool moment for showbiz. Do you feel that if you could trade places with a Gen Z kid in high school right now, would you?
No, what I lived, like I've been asked would I like to go back. No. The choices and experiences I've had, they were all based on my decision, and
Yeah.
I honor that, and I have no regrets. If anything, I've just learned them as experiences.
Yeah.
I was very hard on myself before that. You know, as a teen, I definitely dealt with like my committee, I call it, my thoughts that obviously had their point of view,
Oh, yeah.
and that definitely had its impact. But that was the main reason why I wanted to come out, because prior to coming out, I thought about suicide. Growing up
Mm.
Catholic, first generation, my parents weren't super strict in Catholicism, but what I would read in the Bible or what the priest said, I remember telling or confessing to the priest and letting him know that I was going to come out to my parents. And he said, "You don't have to come out to your parents. I can just whip it out of you." And I, had to take a step back and really rethink that, because I'm like, my parents never really abused me in that way. Yeah, they disciplined us. I mean, if my mom would, like, you would know, see her nostrils flare up. Like, you knew she was going to get pissed. So like I grew up fearing my parents, which is
Mhm.
not a bad thing now, because
Mhm.
I have that respect and love for them, because they were just doing the best they could.
Yeah.
And, their experiences and mine is very different, but they wanted to be supportive and they wanted to set that tone, which is something I appreciate now. As a
Mm.
kid, that was something I was trying to rebel against, being in the box. But now as an adult, I can see that it was my foundation
Yeah.
that allowed me to really create that. Because back then I was just trying to pull the pieces together. I honestly was very optimistic. I've been very optimistic to get to where I'm at today.
Yeah.
My experience has had its ups and downs, and there's moments where I should have been dead, and I'm still here, which gives me a purpose to share my story, to share my hope, to share my strength. Because in that journey, I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned to honor or celebrate myself, because before that, I didn't want to do that. I thought I was supposed to support someone else. And being in this industry has made me realize that, I matter and I value myself more than the dollar. And I understand, living situations and everything else. But I'm actually in a really good point in my life right now.
You exude it. You just are a light. Like you're just blessed with the light, seriously. And I think that like God just gave you that gift. Like you were meant to be on this earth to bring joy to people's lives. And it's just this feeling that I get when I speak to you. I'm just like, I'm
Oh, I love
happier.
that.
Yeah, like I feel more lightweight, and you like remind us to be more childlike and to just connect, like reconnect through spirit. So so high school senior year, and then we're moving into being an adult. What was that transition, and what did you?
Well, that was I don't really talk about that time, because I was still trying to discover myself.
Mhm.
Obviously, I was in cheerleading. I did it for 4 years. I swam for 2 years, but cheerleading was my way out. I felt like to do something, because once I expressed to my parents in my junior year that I was interested in being a dancer, I saw Center Stage before that, and then Fame, the movie. Fame to me, like Irene Cara, when she died, like that, it was such a big impact. But Fame really just was that beacon of hope that made me think like they exist. Because in high school, I did performing arts with Living Literature Colors United. There's actually a documentary called Colors Straight Up that we weren't the main characters per se, but they focused on 8 of the people that were part of the nonprofit. But my sister and I are a part of that. And it's fun because in that journey, they taught us choreography. It was an after school program at our high school that we would meet 2 days a week. And then on Saturdays, we would go to Jordan over in Watts, and they would commute us. And their main focus was to teach you to sing, dance, and act. And before that, I didn't have that. And that really gave me hope to see that light that I knew was in me, because had I not come out, I probably would have fallen in line and lived a miserable life. And I never want to I never want to be deceitful towards someone else in that sense, just to like look good into society and socially and religiously. It was just like, that's not me. I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. So why would I want to do that to someone else?
Yeah.
But Colors United definitely gave me hope. They even made a movie, which was loosely based on it. I think it's called Honey with Jessica Alba.
Oh,
The
yeah.
organization they're working with loosely was supposed to be like Colors United.
Wow.
Our founder recently passed away, Phil Sims, so we were able to reconnect and rejoice the love that we all had and to reconnect. Social media definitely has allowed for us to digitally connect,
Yes.
which is great, but I like the whole personal, one-on-one, phones down, having that, and just to see where everyone was at and to remember what we embarked together as a family was great, because at the end of the day, what I'm seeking for is a sense of a community, sense of family. And I've gathered that, bit by bit, but life has had its moments with me. And, it's allowed me to meet you and be on this platform and share our stories. And kudos to you, because you're a beacon of light that I saw when I met her right away. I was just like, who's this bad bitch? Because, if I can be her, I would be her.
Oh, my God.
I was so enamored by you. Just the way you stood, the posh, everything. I was just like, oh, she exudes that.
Oh, thank you. It's so hard to play the game in show business, and I feel like I know that we shouldn't use the term like make it, but I feel like the reason why I personally haven't made it is because it's so hard to play the game. It's like I get emotionally destroyed by this shit. And then I go home and I'm like, I need to just be done for like 3 weeks. Like it's so hard for me to like stay on track. And I think for spiritual empaths like ourselves, you are just such a great reminder of like meditation, nature, like getting out there and doing things that like replenish your soul, which I need to do more of, clearly. But it is way harder when you're just transparent and honest and you can't help it. Like people don't necessarily, a lot of like powerful people are not a fan of that.
No.
Because they need you to be quiet and keep your mouth shut and not.
Fall in line, I call it.
Yeah, man.
Mm.
Ugh.
I'm done being the puppet. I'm the puppet master.
Yes.
Because before it was saying yes to everything. And then, I've had my learning experiences in having communication or better communication, just a better idea of directing and taking control.
Yeah.
Before it was just like, you take charge. Now it's like, no, I'm at the helm. I got this.
Yeah.
And it feels good to be in that situation, in that space. It's like I work to be in this space, just like everyone else has work.
Mm-hmm.
There's enough room for everyone to be in that position.
Yeah.
Put our egos to the side and just allow for us to shine and create and sail forward. Why not? Let's just take off.
Do you have a vision board or anything at home that like helps you stay in the vortex?
I do. I have a couple.
Okay.
I have a couple. There's like the one for me with my goals, and I have my family. I'm definitely a family guy. The joy of my sister having her 2 boys during the pandemic has allowed me to really reconnect with that inner child, which is who I really forgot at the end of the day. Because adulting, has its perks and moments, but
it sucks. It's hard.
It really sucks, but I would rather be where I'm at today than where I was at then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's comfortable. Yeah, it comes easy, but there's more to life. I see that now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a blessing just to see myself in the reflection through them, and just how they talk to me. I took them to daycare this morning. Sometimes my sister will ask if my nephews, if my mom or I will take them to daycare, and they usually pick between both of us. So to have that experience to, see their joy, put them in their car seats, drop them off, say I love you. It's just, it gives me joy to be able in a position where I can say that to someone else.
Yeah.
My parents would say that to us, but it's just the turning point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm an adult now. I'm still that kid, but they've definitely allowed me to have a lot of healing.
Yes.
My family and them have been that foundation. They've been a part of that vision board.
Yes.
That's another part of it. My mom is a vision board of mine too. She has a 3rd grade education, has been busting her ass. I mean, the house we live in, it's a house that she bought herself from her hard-earned hours. And, she's a freelancer. She's a housekeeper and has been doing it to this day. And she's a hustler. And she inspires me. She's like that superwoman that still keeps going. When I had my car accident, she was there to cheer me on. When she had her car accident, I was there to cheer her on.
Yeah.
It's great to be with my family. I wasn't with my family when I lived here in Hollywood. I was living here for about 10 years, and it was different. But I'm so grateful for that experience because the ups and downs, especially with freelancing. Your check isn't consistent like it is working in a salon. Some people will pay you in 30 days. Some people pay you the day of. Some people pay you in 60 days. So it's very bipolar, and your eating habits definitely adjust. I mean, tacos became like my go-to because that was something I can easily afford under $10. Now the economy's changed a little bit, but you can still make it work,
Yeah.
But it was that hustle that my mom has and the determination and love for her family that I can now celebrate and share with others. Our parents took us back to Mexico when we were kids. We got to go to Oaxaca. We got to go to Jalisco. I'm going to go back to Jalisco at the end of the month. And I was there last year for the first time for Christmas and New Year's. I kid you not. It was life-changing. Like, I feel like it was my rise of Phoenix there, just to be embarked in the culture, the traditions, honestly, not having to be on the phone, not having to get in the car, not having to like get into character, get into like this,
Yeah.
illusion, and just be you and just be part of the community and to talk to people and play and just be present was the best gift I could have ever had for Christmas, but also the best joy in being able to embark 2023 because it definitely has been an interesting journey from the pandemic and now the strike, and it's just kind of like, well, there's still hope. I'm still going to continue to cheer myself on because at the end of the day, I don't want to be tired all the time and
Yes.
sad.
Yeah, we have to. We have to just keep fighting.
I have my days, kid me not. I mean, even working on the bio and working on the idea of being here definitely allowed me to really tap into those parts of my life that I forgot or maybe like shelved. And to even when I was writing the bio the other day, I was with my mom. We were having an acai bowl, and I was just remembering moments that I just started crying. And the good thing about my mom was that she allowed me to cry. Wasn't like, "Why are you crying?" Or like, we have an understanding now where she's just like, "I'm happy to see you cry. Like, it's important for you to cry."
Yes, it is.
I didn't cry before.
Let's talk about some of these moments. So you started in social work.
I did.
Right.
I had the joy of working at Section 8 through a temp agency, Apple One. Unfortunately, when I was working there, they had a freeze, so they couldn't hire me. Obviously, within the first month, my supervisor was like, "Oh, we want to hire you, but we can't hire you because of the freeze." So I was working at Section 8 under nine Section 8 advisors for about a year and a half. And it was great, but it just didn't make any sense. I didn't have any benefits. I worked at the Gay and Lesbian Center and worked my way up there.
Nice.
And that's where I felt really seen, being a part of my community, being able to have that dynamic, that diversity, the celebration of just being who you really are. I mean, I was embarked with like trans, bi. It was just the fluidity of it all. I just felt like, I was in that rainbow world that is me. And I had nothing but joy there. But working in a nonprofit, the big picture and the reality, especially living in LA, is there's no money. You can go private. I was thinking about becoming a licensed clinical social worker and did my tenure map. And that's when I realized that it just really wasn't going to pan out for me.
Or like an OnlyFans social worker.
I mean,
I'm kidding. So how did that turn into you becoming this master of hair? Like, how did it all begin?
Well, I was dating a New Yorker when I was living in Silver Lake. That's the reason why I moved up to Silver Lake from the West Side. And he was a go-getter. I love East Coaster, man. I've had a couple East Coaster boyfriends, and they just have this fucking dynamic about them that I love. Nothing against my West Coast man, but East Coasters.
Shout out to New York men. Shout out to East Coast men.
Yeah, you guys have this vibe that just exudes just so much confidence. They don't deal with the BS. They're effective. And seeing him be a writer and juggle law school was just like, it had me step back because I was going to junior college at LACC while working a full-time and trying to make my way up. But I saw him, have a full-time job, juggle his MFA program and law school. And I'm just kind of like, well, what am I doing with my life? Like, if this fucker can do that, then I obviously can do more. And he's a go-getter, I was fortunate enough to go back with him to New York for Hanukkah and like speed the celebrations. And he definitely planted a seed in me that allowed me to really see the bigger picture and traveling the world and seeing these opportunities where I'm like, what am I going to leave for myself behind in the future? How can I take this power of myself and share it with the world? Because again, I didn't want to fall in the box. I didn't want to be in an office. I didn't want to be, secluded to this chair for the rest of my life because I'm a Leo. I have my moments. Like, I don't mind being in a spot, but it's kind of like, give me my freedom. If I want to go, I want to go. If I don't, I'll stay.
Yeah.
But to know you can't, it's just like,
Yeah, you're a cheerleader. You need to romp around and be that
yeah,
cheerleader for everyone. And
that cheerleader wanted to be there and saw the opportunity for beauty school. So I talked to my mom about going to beauty school, and because I was going to use her as my co-signer to go to Marinello, which no longer exists in LA, but over in Miracle Mile.
yeah.
Over in that Miracle Mile section is where I was commuting on the bus from Silver Lake to go there and take my full-time hours, because I chose to quit working in nonprofit and saw the bigger picture. And my then boyfriend was supportive, and I had support from my mom. And my beauty school journey started at Marinello, and I was committed enough to make it happen and got a bicycle and would ride my bicycle from Silver Lake to Marinello. And 3 months into beauty school, I landed a job over at the Sunset Tower Hotel. They had a medi-spa called the Argyle Salon and Spa. And I say that with joy and pride because the people I met there, for me, was just like watching a celebrity movie.
Wow.
Because
Yeah, that's
it's a
a fancy
historical,
job.
hell yeah. And I found it on Craigslist. And I had to wear a suit. And back in the day, I was a shoe salesman. So luckily I had a, suit there. So I was able to wear that suit and, serve it to them, because I would answer the phone and do presentations and guide them around. And
It was theater.
it basically
was
is.
drama,
It was just
yeah.
stepping into the light and being like, here we go. It was a character, like being that Disney cast member that had their name tag and stood in pride. And
Yes.
I like that. I mean, to be honest, that's the reason why I wanted to be a cheerleader, because I can dance and I can be in front of a crowd, but it was the uniform.
Yes.
It wasn't that, exclusive, but just the idea to be in a uniform to me was just like, look at me. I get to wear this and you guys don't, because you didn't work for this.
Yeah.
But now that I think about it, it felt like I was stepping into my Superman outfit and being able to shine, and having that role definitely was fun.
Do you remember like the first celebrity you ever met, or someone that you were super starstruck by?
There's a couple, but
You're like, they're all canceled now. So
no. There's one specifically, Scott Speedman.
Okay.
He was in Felicity, but he for me, he was a heartthrob back then. There's a couple solo ones there. My mom was a housekeeper, so she had a couple celebrity clients that she was able to meet.
Nice.
But growing up, being dual language, there's a lot of Mexican actors. So
have you met Mario Lopez?
Recently, well, I guess this year, yeah, he was cool.
Shout out Mario.
I didn't get to work on him, but a friend of mine worked on him too. But we were in the surroundings of that environment, and it's cool to see them. I remember seeing Saved by the Bell. I was more into Zach Morris. I joke about that because growing up in the West Side, I have a fascination for white men. They're my kryptonite, I've come to conclude. And,
Same.
that was the dynamic, especially going up there. But Saved by the Bell, Zach Morris was it. Mario Lopez was cool. I was kind of like, that's me, but in a different light. I was kind of like, why would I want to date him? Yeah, because I was at Trust Salon. I worked at a couple other salons to get to Trust, but the first one was Candle and Slaw Day and Spa in downtown. We were in the last episode of the first season of Tabitha Salon Takeover. I met Tabitha Coffee. She was the British or European hairstylist. I don't know if she's British. So I'm going to say European hairstylist that came in, and seeing her shine and be that badass made me think like, I want to be like her. I want to see what else is going to happen out of here. So I worked my way up, going through different salons, assisting, networking, meeting people, and landed in West Hollywood, and had a really fun boss that everyone knew, and I just liked being with him, and he taught me techniques and social dynamics and how to be in that industry. But I wanted more, especially being in a salon. I knew I didn't want to be behind the chair for the rest of my life like he did, and he has a salon, and I just wanted more. So I started to network, meeting people, doing quinceañeras, just whatever was needed. We would get phone calls in the salon, sometimes from like a couple of the hotels, and I need people to go there. So I started making myself more available to that and networking, and little by little started meeting people that will pull me into photo shoots, met the stylist, met the photographer, met the makeup artist. It's just all networking basically, and saying yes to everything in that world. And it definitely allowed me to meet really incredible people that I get to add to my roster now. But
Yeah, let's do a shout out to Lilly Singh. How did that all start? This is so cool. Like to see you guys. You guys have worked together for so long.
We have. I'm very grateful to Lily Singh for taking me into her Unicorn Island world and showing me the ropes of the industry. I mean, she comes from the digital platform YouTube, and I was trying to get into the union and trying to network, but it's really hard to get into the union, come to find out. But I met Lily through another makeup artist that brought me on board with the director of a show for I Love Makeup. It was a YouTube channel that Estee Lauder funded. So Justin Coloma brought me on and I did a show with them for makeup mishaps. Megan Rinks was the influencer they brought on. And the focus of the program was to utilize the makeups, the different brands that they had. And we finished the show and the producers recommended me to the directors about working with the next talent. There was Lily Singh coming in from Canada. We shot a show, Lana Steele, The Makeup Spy. We shot it in 2 weeks. Obviously, you form a bond. And Ashley and I worked closely with Lily for the last couple of years. And that's where the relationship has evolved. When she was living in Canada, she would reach out to us when she would come out here.
Yeah.
Even when she moved here, and to see her transitions blossom and grow has been great. Because I'm always fanning her flame. I'm always fanning everyone's flame.
Yeah.
And it's great to see these, journeys that we all have. Because I worked recently with her for her channel. Sometimes people go outside of the country, work on different shows, and it's great to network because that's how you meet other people. That's how I was able to work on the Real. But that was after joining the union.
Cheetah Girls, baby. Our favorite, Adrienne.
She definitely was this ray of light that I was excited. I was nervous and excited to meet her just because I knew her as from 3LW. And
3LW.
Yeah. I didn't get to enjoy the Disney Channel. We didn't grow up with cable. But, I knew of the Cheetah Girls. But 3LW was the group that I knew her from. And
she can sing.
She can.
I love her voice.
She's fun. She's fun during glam. But I got to work with her because of Natalie, who's another makeup artist that I met through another hairstylist who was in the union. So it was just networking again. And this is during the pandemic. So things were kind of strict. But I had the pleasure of working with her towards the end of the season and then the wrapped and moved on to the next show. But every moment I had with her was fun because it was just fun to see how real she was and how connected and business savvy and just so much passion that she has. And it's great to be in that environment. To think about it now, it's like people give you trust on their image and bring you on board to these projects that you just don't know where are going to go. And it's great to see that now because you make a lot of connections and it's always great to see the finished product.
How was it working for RuPaul?
That was great, actually. So I got to do haircuts on the show. Whenever they would do the interviews, my job was to match the continuity for the interviews. So I did season 15 and I got to meet the girls. And that to me was a pinch me moment because I had drag queen friends. And to now be in a world where drag queens are it on a mainstream platform, and that I get to work with these girls and to hear their experiences, and it definitely had moments where I'm like, fuck, this is reality. Like, I've worked hard. I remember the first job I had with them, I afterwards I went to the car and just cried. I cried out of joy because I'm thinking about my journey and being like, damn, you just never know. Because I got referred by Robert to one of the producers. He was working with Garcelle at The Real, but he couldn't work on the show. So then he referred me and then they brought me on board. So, it was very gratifying just to be there. I got to do season 15, the All-Star season 2, and it's been a nice journey with them. I love them. I love to see. I saw the show. Season 15 was the reason why I saw the show because prior to that, I really wasn't watching RuPaul's Drag Race. The reason being is I felt the girls were being too catty. And I get it. TV reality has this cattiness about it, but I just really wasn't about that. I was more about the camaraderie, the sisterhood, the family aspect of it that happens. Yeah, you're going to have drama, but why would I really want to focus on that?
Yeah, it can get dark. It can get dark and negative for sure.
Which has its moments.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of like, no. After Bianca Del Rio won her season, she's my fan favorite. Like her comedy, she's a New Yorker. She just tells it like it is. And I just fucking cackle over her because she has these ideas in her heads where I'm just like, how and where? But kudos to you for being able to share that with others. But I've actually got the pleasure of meeting RuPaul in West Hollywood and seeing him in his suits because when we were working at Trust across the street from Pavilions, he would walk around there sometimes. So that Pavilion's in West Hollywood, you meet a lot of celebrities in there.
Mm-hmm.
They're in.
Okay, take notes, students and newbies to LA. Renee knows all the hot spots. I saw RuPaul one time. I forget what the name of the venue was, but he was just chilling, no makeup, and I was like, oh my God, like flipped out. I didn't say anything. I was too nervous, but it was cool just to see him out, like no makeup, you know, just confident and owning his shit.
He's tall. I mean, he has pitango rings. There's an association there, so he has a lot of his jewelry too.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's a big fan of his, so that's a nice, like, you know, name drop to put in there.
Okay.
Like,
and who is this?
Pitango rings.
Okay.
Pitango. He makes his beautiful jewelry. He's over in Venice.
Those are gorgeous.
Yeah, thank you. Ashley was the one that introduced me to him. But this is how they look in reality. But
beautiful.
I turn them around.
Stones and crystals to keep your spirit in alignment.
For sure. I mean, being around Ashley obviously has allowed me to really step into that world and step into that light because she's just magical fairy.
Okay, shout out to Ashley Joy Beck. We love you. I love you. Yes, that's amazing.
Yeah, I love her. I call her my makeup husband. When she comes to LA and works and sometimes we work together, she'll spend the night with me and my family, and knows her as my makeup husband or like, my husband. And it's fun to have that dynamic, that relationship with her because it's really close. It's healthy. It's allowed me to, have closure with my past and see the future, but also being in the present. And she's a beacon of light. Her and Matt both. That her husband. This is actually their jewelry that they made. So,
oh wow!
Yeah,
okay,
they also make jewelry.
Too.
Yeah, they've been great, and they've allowed me to like step into that world and feel safe, feel nurtured, feel loved, and it's awesome to be able to come out of that and be where I am today. So, it's great to have your family, your chosen family that's there to nurture you and love you.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Especially for kids like me. I pretty much lost my family. And so when I hear you talk about your mom, it just, I just had a dream about my mom last night. So I just love hearing you say that you have her in your life and that you're able to have that support from her. It's so important. And I feel like I have that support from my mom, like, in wherever she is, I really feel her spirit around me. So it's just beautiful to hear that.
That's something I've worked towards too. She definitely is like, the reality of passing. I know that would devastate me.
Yeah.
It's the reality that I can accept, but I can look back at the moments that I've had with her and say, at least I was there.
Yeah.
Like this weekend we were together. I had other plans and we spent time together, and it made me realize how important it is to spend time with my family.
Yeah.
I can spend time with the guys whenever, but it's those moments you just don't know, especially the way people drive here in LA.
Oh my God.
I almost got rear-ended by a bigger truck had I not been aware, and it's just the phones. I call it the Wally era. We're in the Wally era where everyone's pretty much dumbing down and being in front of this screen and just slowing down, and it's just being cautious. But
what is Wally?
The movie Wally. I saw it because of an ex. I didn't grow up. I didn't see a lot of the Disney or the Pixar movies because I didn't have any nephews until recently. But a then boyfriend had his godson who was obsessed with the movie Wally. Huh. Basically, Earth is done. We live in a spaceship. Everyone's overweight on a sofa bed being pushed around, where AI helps you with your hair, your like everything. You're just in a couch potato. And there's a robot that lives on Earth that's there to clean up the trash that we left behind, Wally. And there's a connection he has with another robot. So it's through his journey and seeing that impact and now seeing it in reality is just kind of like, damn. A lot of TV that I grew up watching is now here in its own way, like Total Recall. And
yeah, they've been telling us for a long time. They've been showing us the future. I'm like, did you guys manifest this for us? Because goddamn, I mean, it really has been the storyline in so many movies. It's wild. I mean, but we were chosen to be here for the apocalypse because apparently the light wins. So let's see how it pans out.
I mean, at this point, I've buckled down. As long as I can walk, talk, eat, and shit,
Yeah.
I'm on top of the world. The rest, the material part kicks in, but that for me is where I deal with my ego and reminding myself of your fundamentals. Especially in my car accident, I broke my collarbone.
Yeah.
So wasn't able to use my left side. My mom was there to help me. And there were moments where I was crying because, I felt humiliated. I felt defeated. I felt like the world was going against me, but she was there to support me and recharge me to know that, you're going to be strong, you're going to heal. And I have this bionic piece here now that I don't longer feel, but it's a reminder that, we can continue on this journey and still keep going forward. You have another day of life. You have 24 hours to create whatever it is you choose to create. And honestly, I have my days too where I mope, but I try to like be active, meditate, do breath work, ground myself, go hiking. Um, being physically active for me is something that helps me a lot. I know
Yes.
that I do better with being physically active, like working out, doing cardio, doing something active. Riding my bicycle is going to keep me sane.
Do you have any recommendations? I know for hiking trails.
Yes, I definitely love Griffith Park here.
Mhm.
There's the Ferndale when you enter.
Mhm.
There's there's a little lake. I'm kind of giving my little walk away, but there's a little like man-made lake to the left that you can enter.
Okay.
I usually will walk in there and cleanse myself with nature there, and it continues off to the playground.
Mhm.
There's 2 different routes you can go around to the observatory. So it depends on my time because they're about an hour and a half. But since I live in the west side, I'm going over to the Baldwin Hills Scenic Overlook by
Mhm.
Kenneth Hahn.
Mhm.
That's a nice little hike. I'm trying to venture over to like Malibu over in the west side and
I
go
want to
hiking
try
out there.
Topanga.
I haven't done it, so I'm down.
Yes.
I
They
would
have a
love to go out
cafe
there.
out there. I saw it on TikTok.
Dope.
And it's just like, it almost feels like you're hanging over a cliff. And it's just the most gorgeous view. It's like an hour
That's
drive, but
Topanga
I'm
though.
like,
That's the beauty of that place.
yeah.
It's nice to go over there.
Yeah, I would love to do that. Maybe me, you, and Ashley.
Yeah. Why not?
Tell the people advice for the children.
I would definitely say for the children to be consistent, to never give up, to know that there's room for you. For a while, I didn't think there was room for me, but there's always been room for me. It was just a matter of me, owning that and stepping there and being in that position of power.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I had to come into my own space with that and to network. I mean, I I would joke about being a hair hooker because people would call me whenever they wanted to get fluff. It was like, what are we doing today? Like, what role are we playing? Be fun at it. Like, enjoy yourself. Practice. I still practice to this day. I assist people. Why not? They have different techniques. I still assist people. I have no problem assisting people because I feel like, I can gain education from them. They might have something different that I didn't know or wasn't aware of. And I always like to continue to learn, especially now with the internet. I mean, YouTube 10 years ago, I didn't know what it was. Now I'm like living on it.
Yeah.
But it's been very helpful and allowing me to understand the bigger picture of getting more knowledge
Yeah,
and
same.
practicing.
Speaking of learning, I learned how to do this ponytail because of Renee. Okay. And I was so anti because I have such a sensitive head. And it was like, at first I was like, oh shit, I can't handle this because of the bobby pins and the Velcro and stuff. But now I'm obsessed with it.
It's a good look. I like how seeing in your other episodes how you change the style. It's great. It's fun to see.
Well,
how
that's my problem. I have to wean myself off of the ponytail now because I'm like so addicted to it. And so when I wear my hair down now, people are like, oh my God, you look like a different person. Like, it's so crazy how different you look. But I don't care. I love the ponytail.
The ponytail is a classic. I'll always try, even in editorials or whatever, half up, half down, just to remove some of that weight out of your face to show the cheekbones and jawline. It's a good way to highlight.
Yeah.
Barbies for me as a kid was something that really allowed me to play with that world. My sister had Barbies and I had G.I. Joe, so we were interchange. She'd play with them and I played with her Barbies. And I was always wanted to be the pretty girl, brush their hair. And that's kind of how it all played out. It's like, how would I want to look based on the outfit? And it's always fun to play dress up.
Have you seen Barbie?
Not yet.
Me either.
Right?
You would think that I would be running to that, but I wanted to see Haunted Mansion instead.
How did you like Haunted Mansion?
I loved it.
I haven't
I
seen it
cried.
yet. Aw. I like that ride, though. I would be interested to see how they interpreted the movie.
That's
into
my,
that.
because I love Disneyland too. My mom's dance team, we used to perform at Disneyland as a kid. And so it means a lot to me that you love Disney that much, because
Oh,
me too.
yeah. I mean, when I knew they would have the UCA cheer competitions there, the high school I cheered at wasn't competitive. I cheered in junior college, and we went to Raging Waters. We were a co-ed team. It was 50 deep, 25 guys, 25 girls. We
Wow.
won in first place. It was dope as fuck. That for me was that moment, being at ESPN with UCA in my head, being like, this is what Bring It On is all about. Like,
Yes.
the empowerment you get from that.
Ugh,
It's a rush.
I know, I miss it.
I miss it too. I did Cheer Life for a year back in the day, and shout outs to any company that's interested in sponsoring me for a year. That would be a great donation. Maybe it can be created into digital content. Who knows about the journeys and process of it? Because Cheer Life, if I can go back, I would go back in a heartbeat. I miss performing. I miss being a part of the community. I miss being a beacon of hope and light for other people that are out there. And just the idea of performing, I miss that part, dancing, that partner stunting, because everyone's an adult. And our flyer, Kim, who does these fucking dope ass X outs, we would toss her up, and that was fun. So
Okay, so whoever's producing the next cheer show on Netflix, hire Renee, okay? My friend Rebecca, Cardsy B, illustrated this tarot deck, and it's all badass bitches.
I love that.
So if you would like to shuffle and
Yes.
choose one, let's see what the universe has to say today.
I've seen this on your other episodes, so I'm
Yeah.
excited to see that we can pull some tarot.
Yeah.
I get to pull tarot today, but this is good.
Who did you get?
Cardi B,
Ah!
Knight of Wands.
There's
That's
some-
hilarious.
There's some in this house.
Oh,
Hey.
I was just joking about her in that music video with Maroon 5. A funny story. We shot a music video for Maroon 5, and they ended up shooting a different one because the content was horrible. The weather was not permitting. They had fireworks, money down the drain, but kudos to you. And she was in this video, so it's great to see her in this because...
Did it come out?
No, they reshot it, and they did a concert version of it. But it was...
What song?
I'm blanking on the name right now,
Okay.
but I'll definitely make a note of it.
Okay, yeah.
But that to me was another pinch me moment, just to be there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't get to work on him, but we got to work on the dancers.
Amazing. Okay, so what's her card?
Knight of Wands.
Knight
Yep.
of Wands. Okay. Cardi, the charismatic Knight of Wands, is exotic and impulsive and loves action. Intoxicatingly charming and fun, the Knight of Wands may seem too good to be true. However, she is legit, honey, if channeled the right way. So the upright is energy, passion, impulsiveness. You are the energy and the passion.
I'll take it.
Love it. Shout out to Cardsy B. So we have 2 minutes left. Let's say something profound. Like, shout out to everyone on strike.
Yes, I stand strong with you. I will be picketing with you guys soon. That's
Yes.
been an interesting journey with that strike.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely shut down the business.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we need to get paid more. Everybody does.
agreed.
Yeah.
Especially with the influencers. A tagging and a post is not a form of payment. I've been hit up with that before, and I've declined nicely, but
Tagging is not a form of payment, okay?
no, we can create, but just be upfront about it and don't sugarcoat things.
I just heard Tana Mojo say that she's making over 8 figures
Of course she is.
on OnlyFans. So if you're a multimillionaire, definitely pay the people that you hire.
She was fun. I didn't get to work on her, but I was on a photo shoot with her and her friends, and she was there for her.
Oh, what about Selling Sunset?
I was there for the interview portion.
Okay.
It's TV reality, they usually the glam gets done when they do the interviews.
Did you get to meet Christine Quinn?
No, this is the one in OC, so we were doing the current season that they're taping right now for.
Oh.
So it'll be coming out. Yeah, this is before the strike happened. My friend Patrick brought me on board. He was a department head. So
What's her name? The main chick? Chriselle.
she's over here. Yeah, they go up there. I was getting more information from the cast members that were there that day, and they made cameos. Great location, great space to go out there. I like Laguna. I don't go over there as much, but it was just still that was another pinch me moment, just to think like you just never know what kind of opportunity you're gonna get by saying it, and the people you meet. Because this is my salon coworker that made it into the union. He was now in a position where he needed a hairstylist. I was in the union, so he brought me on board, and it's just great to have that network, meet people, bond with them, connect with them.
Okay, final question for manifestation. If you could have anything in the world, your dream job or like the vision, like if you had a genie, what would your wish be?
My dream, well, that's that's a work in progress right now because before I got here, that's what I was envisioning in my mind already.
Yes.
Um, to be happy at whatever I do, financially, spiritually, physically, that's the joy yeah, I seek joy and love in whatever passion I get to do. The abundance will come. I'm
Mhm.
surrounded by abundance.
Yeah.
That's my ego wants to ask for more. That's part of my shadow work that I'm working on
Yeah.
too. But I'm reminding myself that as long as there's love, there's joy, there's celebration, all the abundance is around you. So I'm gonna keep it as basic and as humble as possible.
Yeah.
That's what I'm working on today.
Well, I mean, I want a team of people that are just like you, that are just like spiritual butterflies, you know? Like, I want to say all female, but it's more about like people that just like not the straight cis male that.
I hear you. I mean, I've even said it to companies when they hit me up and they think I'm a girl. I was like, I'll come as her. I just need a budget. I need hair, makeup, like, glam. Because if you think I'm her, I can be her.
Yeah.
I just need a budget.
We need that budget, people. Okay. Okay, you guys, this was Angel number 13, episode number 13. And we love you so much, Renee. Thank you for
Love you too,
coming on the
Rachele. Thank you
show.
for having me.
Yes. We will see you guys later. Much love. Have a beautiful week.